Welcome to Money Moves University. I'm James Jackson III. I've taught personal finance at a community college for over a decade, and I've seen firsthand what changes when people finally understand how money works. Before we get into today's topic, I want to put a number in front of you. The average American has no written budget and no formal system for how they spend their money. Not surprising, right? Not a bad system, no system, which means every financial decision is made in the moment. It's reactive, emotional, and usually expensive. Now here's the question. What would change if every dollar you earn already had a job before you spent it? Today, we are getting into the 70-10-10-10 system. Not a budget that restricts you, a system that frees you. Because when your money has a plan, you stop making decisions by default and start making them on purpose. And if you were with us last episode when we built your financial goals, today is the engine that powers them. Let's put your money to work. Last episode, we talked about something important. We talked about the influence chain, how what you consume shapes your thinking, and your thinking builds your life. And then we built a smart financial goal. You did that, right? It's one sentence, specific, with a deadline. And here's what I want to do to understand about that goal before we go any further. A goal without a funding system is just a wish with a deadline. You could write the most beautiful, specific, time-bound financial goal in the world. And if you do not have a system for how your money moves, that goal will keep getting pushed. Something will come up. The car, that one bill, that unexpected expense that feels like it couldn't have been predicted, but something keeps showing up every single month. The 70-10-10-10 system is the answer to that problem. It is the infrastructure that makes your goals fundable. Not someday, starting with your next paycheck. Before I give you the system, let me tell you why most budgets don't work. Most people, when they try to budget, do one of two things. They either build something so complicated, 27 categories, color-coded spreadsheets, apps with notifications, then that becomes almost like a second job. And within 3 weeks or less, they quit. Or they try to track every dollar after they've already spent it, which is not a budget. That is a financial autopsy. Useful information, but the patient is already gone, right? The other thing that kills budgets is how most people frame them. A budget feels like a restriction, like financial punishment, like someone is telling you no. But that is the wrong frame entirely. A budget is not a ceiling. It is a set of instructions you write for your money before life writes them for you. The 70-10-10-10 system works because it is simple enough to actually use, flexible enough to fit any income level, and built around something most traditional budgets ignore completely. The fact that money is not just for spending and saving. Money is also for building and forgiving. I learned this 70-10-10 strategy almost 20 years ago from one of my mentors, Jim Rohn. And I listened to a big old conference that he held at that time. And I learned that strategy, and it's been working for me ever since. Like most people, I was like looking at my online bank account to help me determine my budget. That doesn't work. So let me show you how this system really goes down. It's 4 buckets. Every dollar you earn gets divided between them the moment it arrives. Not after you pay bills, not after you see what's left, before any of that. First, 70%, living. Your life covered. Rent, mortgage, groceries, utilities, transportation, insurance, subscriptions, clothing, entertainment, everything it takes to live your actual life. 70 cents of every dollar goes here, not more. Let me say that last part again, not more. If your lifestyle is currently costing you more than 70% of what you bring home, That is the first signal this system is sending you. Something in the living bucket needs to shrink, and we'll talk about how to do that. The next 10%, savings, your cushion, then your future. Emergency fund first, 3 to 6 months of expenses, sitting in a high yield savings account untouched. Once that is built, this 10% shifts toward short and midterm goals. The down payment on a house, the car replacement fund, the family trip, the next financial milestone from your SMART goal list, whatever that would be. The saving bucket is your first line of defense. This is what separates you from the 37% of Americans who cannot cover a $400 emergency without borrowing. We talked about that in the very first episode. This bucket is the answer to it. And here is the rule. Savings comes out first. Before you pay a single bill, before you see what is left, you pay yourself first. We've all heard that before. Pay yourself first every single time. Set up the automatic transfer the day your paycheck hits and remove the decision entirely. The other 10%, investing. Your money making money. 401k to the employer match, Roth IRA, brokerage account, index funds. This 10% is working while you sleep, compounding while you work, and building the wealth your goals are pointed toward. The exact vehicles depend on your situation. We will cover all of that in later episodes. The investing bucket is where generational wealth is actually built. The savings bucket protects you. The investing bucket grows you. Most people skip this one entirely until they feel ready. I want to challenge that thinking right now. There is no perfect time to start investing. The best time was 10 years ago. The second best time is your next paycheck. Even $50 a paycheck invested consistently in a low-cost index fund that compounds over time into something that will surprise you. We will run the actual math of time value money in later episodes as well. For now, just know, this bucket stays in the system no matter what. Then the last 10%, tithing and giving, your values expressed. For those of faith, this is the tithe, the first fruits, returned before anything else. For everyone else, this is your giving bucket. Your church, your community, causes that matter to you, people in your life who need a hand. 10% of your income designated for something bigger than yourself. I want to spend a moment on this one because it's the bucket that gets cut first when people feel financial pressure. And I understand why. When things are tight, giving feels like something you earn your way back to. But here's what I've seen in the 25 years of working with people and their money. The people who give consistently, even when it is hard, think about money differently than everyone else. They have a relationship with money that is rooted in abundance, not scarcity. And that mindset affects every other financial decision they make. Whether you frame this as tithing, as generosity, as community investment, whatever language fits your faith and your values, I want to encourage you to protect this bucket. It is not the last priority. It is a foundational one. Now, let me address the thing that most people think when they first hear this system. What if my living expenses are already more than 70% of my income? What if I can't make this math work right now? First, that is actually more common than you think. And the system does not require perfection on day one. It just requires direction. If you are currently spending 85% of your income on living expenses, the goal is not to snap to 70% overnight. The goal is to get to 82 this month, then 79, then 75, then 70. You are building a system, not passing a test. Here is how you start closing the gap. 1, audit your subscriptions. Every recurring charge that you forgot about or no longer actively use is a leak in the living bucket. Go through your last 2 bank statements line by line. Anything you did not choose today gets canceled. 2, Look at your two biggest expenses, housing and transportation. If either one is consuming more than 30% of your take-home pay on its own, that is the conversation to have. Not necessarily today, but on your horizon. And then 3, start the other 3 buckets at whatever percentage you can, even if it is 2 or 3% each. The habit of allocating matters more than the amount right now. You are training a new behavior. The percentages grow as your income grows and your expenses tighten. And one more thing, this system works whether you are paid weekly, biweekly, or monthly. Whether you are a salaried employee, hourly, or your income varies, the percentages stay the same. You just have to apply them to whatever lands in your account. Let me show you what this system looks like with real numbers. Say your take-home pay is $4,000 a month, after taxes, after anything your employer takes out. $4,000 hits your account, 70%. Living, $2,800. Rent, groceries, utilities, car, insurance, life. Percent savings, $400. Emergency fund, then short and midterm goals. Then 10% investing, $400. 401k, Roth IRA, index funds, wealth building. And then 10% tithing and giving, $400. Church, community, causes that matter to you. That is the $4,000 with a plan. Every dollar has a job. Nothing gets left to chance. Now you run your own numbers. Whatever your take home is, multiply it by 0.7, 0.10, 0.10, 0.10. That is your starting point. Your money already knows where it is going. Now you do too. All right. The 70-10-10-10 system. 4 buckets. Every dollar with a job. 70 for living, 10 for savings, 10 for investing, 10 for tithing and giving. Simple enough to actually use. Powerful enough to change everything. So, as always, here's your action step this week. Take your last month take-home income and divide it across 4 buckets. See where you land. If you're over 70 on living, now you know. That number is the beginning of the conversation, not the end of it. And connect this back to last week. Take the SMART goal you wrote and figure out which bucket funds it. Is it your savings goal? That's the savings bucket. Your investing goal? That's the investing bucket. Your goals now have a home inside of your system. Episode helped. Share it with someone who needs a system. Not just good intentions, a real system. This is it. And if your organization is looking for financial education that goes deeper, curriculum built to be delivered, measured, and reported on, visit moneymovesuniversity.com. Next time on Money Moves University, we're going to dive into career moves, negotiating your worth. Because the best budget in the world only goes so far. If the income flowing into it, it is not where it should be. In the next episode, we'll talk about how to make sure you're being paid what you are actually worth. I'm James Jackson III. As always, keep building, keep moving, and I'll see you in the next episode.